Alrighty guys, welcome to Male Talking Points. I came across this today. Very important for you guys to read because this is the stuff that's going on in the background that you may not hear about. H.183, an act relating to S violence. It was approved by the governor on June 8th, 2021. And from the gist I've got reading this, it's about assault on campuses, crimes and criminal procedures, S assault, an act relating to S violence. This act makes several changes to S assault laws, primarily focused on consent, requires collection and reporting of data regarding S violence, and establishes the Intercollegiate S Harm Prevention Council. So this is coming up because I guess the college guys and girls are going out to parties and drinking, and once again this unfortunately young men are, this bothers me because the men this is targeting are the guys old enough to be my son. I'm in my mid-40s. And I, as a guy, know you do stupid stuff when you're in your 20s. And this is becoming more and more dangerous for you young guys because, well, let's keep reading. You'll see what I'm getting at. Statutory amendments to the S assault laws include new definitions of consent and incapable of consenting, and clarification that a person who is asleep, unconscious, or substantially impaired by intoxicants cannot consent to S activity. Okay, so I totally see where they're going here, because yes, I mean, if you're impaired, this is where you MGTOW guys got it good right here. Just walk away. Don't even put yourself in this situation. On or before September 1st, 2024, and biannually thereafter, the Department of Public Safety is required to provide statistical report to the General Assembly based on data from the National Incident-Based Reporting System and the Vermont Judiciary on the number of S violence cases reported to law enforcement, the number of cases referred to prosecutors, the number of cases charged, and the disposition of such cases. The Intercollegiate S Harm Prevention Council is established for the purpose of creating coordinating response to campus S harm across institutions of higher learning in Vermont. The council is directed to continue the work of the legislative created Vermont Campus S Harm Task Force that sunset in 2020. The council is to submit a written report to the General Assembly with a summary of activities and any recommendations for legislative. So basically you read the summary and it makes sense. This is where you guys really need to be careful, because the summary is like, it's just women are getting assaulted basically at parties where there's a lot of drinking and stuff. Now, this is what I want to bring to you guys. This is the summary. This is what this is what should scare the hell out of any guy. And let me take a little drink of water here. Basically, the bill summary is like, hey, we're just trying to prevent young ladies from getting assaulted while they're at parties, choosing to behave the way they want to behave, whatever. But then, here's the actual bill. Consent means the affirmative, unambiguous, and voluntary agreement to engage in a sexual act, which can be revoked at any time. That's the very first paragraph. And this right here is what should scare the hell out of every man. Basically now, you you are a, even if it's consensual, you are a potential assaulter. Incapable of consenting means the person is incapable of understanding the nature of the conduct at issue, is physically incapable of resisting, declining participation in, or communicating unwillingness to engage in the conduct at issue, or lacks the mental ability to make or communicate a decision about whether to engage in the conduct at issue. No person shall engage in a S act with another person. That's without, okay, you gotta go to the next page. Without the consent of the other person, by threatening or coercing the other person, or placing the other person in fear that any person will suffer immediate bodily injury. When the person knows or reasonably should know that the other person is asleep, unconscious, or otherwise unaware that the act is occurring. No person shall administer any alcohol, drugs. So this is, basically getting them drunk or whatever to have. Any person who violates section A, B, D, or E of this section shall be imprisoned not less than 3 years and for a maximum term of life. Life imprisonment, guys. And see, all this makes sense. Yeah, you don't give her alcohol. But the problem I have is right at the top, which can be revoked at any time. So, say you do have consensual relationships with a woman in college, and later on in life you go your separate ways and you start working at a law firm or something. You get a good job, you meet someone else, you're married, you maybe have a small child at home, and then this person comes back into your life, and she's kind of alpha widowed from you. So you guys had, some bedroom fun at college, and she's mad. This right here, she can revoke it at any time. All of a sudden, you're guilty of assault, even though she consented. This is what makes it very, very, very dangerous for men right here. This is very dangerous for men, because this makes it even stronger for any woman to lie about, non-consensual sex. And right now, in the college systems, there's 47% more women than men. There's 47% more women graduating college than men. So the good majority of college students are women. And these are women who at any moment could be upset, or maybe she's trying to, you don't shame them. You don't shame them at all, because when they're in their little life of finding themselves, and then maybe at the end of the road she's all, man, I can't believe I had a relationship with this guy. Now I'm going to make sure it's non-consensual, because it can be revoked at any time. And the thing is she can say anything. And now you're guilty of a crime which can put you in prison for the rest of your life. And you could be fined more than $25,000. This right here, it's interesting how they had that nice little summary, which, this guy's getting her drunk, or this guy's doing this. But when you read the actual bill, the consent can be revoked at any time. 20 years down the road, when she's all, I really liked him and he don't want nothing to do with me, I am going to bring this up. What do you have to defend yourself? You're not Brent Kavanaugh with a unless you're smart enough to, you know, document everything while you're in college. You're screwed. Basically, you're screwed as a man. A person of violating section A, B, C, A, B, D, or E of this section shall be sentenced under section 3271 of this title. Trial procedure consent. In a prosecution for a crime defined in this chapter or section 2601 of this title, lack of consent may be shown without proof of resistance. Submission resulting from the use of force, threat of force, or placing another person in fear does not constitute consent. Consent shall be demonstrated by evidence prohibited under section 3255 of this title. Sleeping with an unconscious person cannot consent. So there's some of this that is understandable. I can understand what they're getting at because there are people who have been abused. But the thing is this is being made to the point where at any time a person could say, I did not consent. I am revoking. I consent, but now I revoke it. I totally. All it will take is one or two ladies who are trying to save their reputation, who are on a vendetta against a guy, to totally ruin people's lives over decisions that they are not being held accountable. There is no accountability for some of these young ladies. That's where this is a double-edged sword right here, because you're trying to protect the ones who are defenseless, let's say. I mean, it all comes down to, you're trying to defend someone who has purposely been a victim of a crime, but you're basically opening a can of worms where a bunch of innocent people can be charged with a crime they didn't commit at any time, 10, 20, 30 years down the road. It is very scary, guys. This is very, very scary. And then they wonder why men are walking away. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. This is the bill. You can go to Vermont legislator.vermont.gov and it's there. Just look up Vermont Bill H183. This is very, very, very scary. And they put it right in that first sentence. That's if I had a son in college, I'd be like, you just keep it in your pants and you ignore all the women. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. I mean, that right there can be revoked at any time. So be on the lookout, guys. The laws are coming for men, basically. I know whoever designed this made it to protect the victims, but at the same time they have just opened it up to, all it will take is just a handful of young ladies who may have been ghosted, alpha widowed, any time they can revoke. And right there it says in the first sentence, and right down there, person who violates shall be imprisoned 3 years to life. That's a whole life down the toilet because you and someone decided to have an intimate moment in college, and then later on in life she decides that, I'm going to revoke it. I consented, but I revoked. So this should be a eye opener to you guys, and for you MGTOW guys, this is just more fuel on your fire to go monk, because wow. I mean, this makes me not want. I mean, as a 40-year-old guy, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth pursuing anyone because you could be later held accountable because say you go on a date and it it don't clearly go the way she wants, and then she can just revoke it as far as he didn't take me out to dinner, or he didn't do this, or you could just do one little minute thing to you break up with her a couple months later and she's distraught, and she can just go and say that I'm revoking my consent, and now you can spend 3 years to the rest of your life in prison because of it. So, anyway, guys, I encourage you to go check out that website, read it for yourself. It is very, very alarming, and I feel very concerned for the young men out there who, they may go to a party, they may both be sober. He finds a girl he likes, and they have consensual relationships that night, and then later on, she revokes it, and his life is ruined. So, anyway, guys, be safe out there. Male talking points.